Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. Kilgraston School in Perthshire is a privately run public school. It's a boarding school. And it's a Catholic boarding school, Roman Catholic boarding school there. And because of the change to VAT on private education, it's decided it's not going to continue and it's going to close. Now, this is exactly the sort of thing we said would happen. It would be a mixture of people taking their children out because they can't afford the VAT on fees, and with the loss of money, some of the smaller schools would close. And that's exactly what's happening. And so this little boarding school is now releasing 250 children into the wild. And that's all those teachers who are now unemployed. And of course, they're not going to get a job in Scotland because Scotland isn't hiring teachers and certainly isn't putting them on to permanent contracts. So those teachers will probably go to England or retire, depending on their age, whatever they're doing. And this is just one school. And this is just the first one of probably many that's going to go. The local authority is already oversubscribed in its schools. It's already got problems with spaces. Spaces are at a premium in sort of, state schools in the area. So where they're going to put 250 kids, nobody knows. I mean, that's half a school, really, in its own. It's half a, I don't know how big the sort of secondary schools are in the area, but it's still a lot of pupils, isn't it? And so they're going to have to do something. But the local council haven't got the money. They don't know. They are struggling. The local councils have said that they now have an education emergency and are appealing to the SNP government to give them more funds so they can help to take in some of these children. And as I say, this is just the first. Also, there's a 100 pupil school called Cedars in Greenock, and that is also closing next month. That won't reopen in September. And so they go in Greenock, over the other side of the country. Another 100 pupils having to go into the state system where there aren't enough spaces as it stands. Direct result, and again, also all those teachers fired. Again, direct result of Rachel Reeves and Labour's loathing of the private school system, even though virtually everyone on Labour's front bench benefited from private education. I know Keir Starmer's father was just a little toolmaker, but he did manage to send Keir Starmer to private education, so he must have been making a lot of tools. But then when you own the factory, you are going to, aren't you? But Labour's pushing ahead with this VAT push, this push to put VAT onto private education. And now we're starting to see already the effects of that terrible idea. Now, they're hoping that this will raise £1.5 billion. But that's only, of course, if the people currently going to school and paying those fees stay there. And we've just seen that they're not, that the schools are closing, and that the kids are going into the state sector. So that £1.5 billion they thought they would raise, well, first of all, you're not going to get the money coming in. And secondly, of course, you've now got greater expense because you've now got to educate those children in the state sector, costing you money. One of the other side effects of this, of course, is the sort of people who can afford to send their children to public school will have a wee bit of money left over. They will hunt around. They will see what's the best school in the area. And then they will buy houses in that area, driving the prices up in that area, meaning that normal people won't be able to go and put their children into those state schools because they can't afford to live within the catchment area, because all these rich people have bought all the houses and they will pay a premium and push the prices up for everyone. A rising tide lifts all boats. And that is what's going to happen. So you'll actually be driving out potentially very talented kids who would have gone to a good school, who now can't because their parents can't afford to buy within the catchment. And so those very talented kids will have to go to a lesser school where they may not get the education they need or deserve or require to push them to their limits. It's a bad thing, isn't it? And it's not just because this happens to be in Scotland. It's not just Scotland, of course. This will be the same across the whole of Britain as this goes on. Fewer and fewer pupils contributing less money than the government think, and massively increasing the education bill across the whole of Britain. Now, this is just one example. This school, this one up in Perth. The school, it has £3.4 million of loans and finance commitments outstanding, and it charges annual fees of £41,500 for senior boarders. And so all that money has gone. That is an immense amount of money. Lomond School in Helensburgh in Dunbartonshire also warned more schools may go out of business. And Jonathan Hewitt, who's the registrar at that school, says that Labour leadership are simply green-eyed and are forcing schools to look at ways to engage in hard marketing tactics to try to attract pupils. But it's ultimately green-eyed spinelessness, he says, and Labour idiocy, which is being enforced. And the reality is that a number of independent schools will close, releasing thousands of pupils into the state system, into a state system that is incapable of absorbing them. And it is not viable. It is just... It's exactly what we said would happen is happening. It's like we've looked into the crystal ball and we've said, why can't Labour see what will happen? We can all see it, and now it's happening. And Labour will come up with all surprise. Oh, we weren't expecting that. Oh, we weren't expecting that. This is the same Labour Party who, when putting the taxes up on the non-doms, expected 2% of non-doms to leave the country. 25% have gone so far. More are planning to go. Those who have got money are getting it out. And I've said as well, I'm going to get out. It's just destructive because these people don't like success. They hate success because successful people don't vote Labour. I don't think anyone will vote Labour now. When you're watching even your good local school fail simply because it's oversubscribed, because they've got too many pupils and the teachers are overworked and stressed and nobody can get anything done because thousands of new pupils are being shoved in left, right and centre. And you watch your children suffer because of it. You think, Labour did this. So you'll know how to vote next time, won't you? But anyway, one senior private school insider, speaking anonymously, said Labour had wrongly assumed the independent sector had the resilience and resources of many of its counterparts. It said, but the Treasury declined to comment on this because they don't think it's suitable for them to comment on individual cases, which is their way of saying, we've screwed up, but we don't want to admit it. They know it's an appallingly bad idea. And now so does everyone else. Thank you very much. Take care. Let me know what you think and speak soon. Bye.